Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Have a Little Grace. Today, we're going to be talking about my regrets. Yeah, we're going to be talking about my regrets and how I've felt about them and trying to reframe these regrets in my mind into something more positive and to something I can use to help move forward with my life instead of dwelling on it. So, yes. But before we start, I want to talk about my new microphone. This is brought to you by Leanne. Thank you so much, Leanne. This is my new own podcast microphone, and I hope you like it, and I hope you like the sound. I don't know if it's better or worse than before, but I was renting those microphones, and now I have my own mic, my own camera. We're getting there. The equipment is getting there, and I'm so happy. But anyway, so yes, I hope you enjoy, but yeah, I just needed to address my new microphone because it's awesome. Okay, so to begin, I just want to talk about how regrets are bound to happen, right? You live with regrets, whether it's something you wish you did or something you wish you didn't do. But regardless, it's something that can eat people alive and can definitely affect a lot of people negatively. And that's just something that I want to talk about to help myself move forward in my life, to be a better person, to just be the best self that I can. But yeah, so my first regret is, this may sound silly, but my first regret would have to be not continuing doing violin. I know, it sounds stupid, but hear me out. So I did violin from 4th grade to 8th grade, and that's about 4 or 5 years of training, being able to read music, being musically inclined, and I didn't think I would regret this decision. I stopped after, I quit after 8th grade because, I was going into high school. It was kind of choosing between music or athletics, and I was a sports girly. I liked doing sports, and I was trying to prioritize that. And although I don't regret necessarily choosing sports over music, I do think I could have done both. I do wish that I continued to train because I really, really enjoyed doing violin, and I enjoyed being able to read music. Having that skill is awesome. And just being able to play, I remember being in one of the top lesson groups, and I felt so proud of myself, and I felt like good, I felt elite in that way. And I do regret not continuing. And there was also the social thing where if you still did an instrument, it just wasn't cool, and I just wish I didn't listen to those social cues in high school, in which you come out of high school and you realize none of those actually matter. But a big regret, and I think me realizing this, is just being around such talented people and musicians and artists at school. In Oneonta, I'm surrounded by musically talented people, and it's so inspiring. And that's where my regret, I think, roots from. Just being around all of my roommates, all of my friends that can pretty much play an instrument fluently. I just think it's so admirable, and I think it's so cool, whether it's songwriting, whether it's playing guitar or piano or both, and going to see live music. It's I wish I was able to do that again. I wish I could pick up my violin and be able to play something extraordinary. I wish I could read music again. And it's things like that where I regret not continuing it. I wish that my mom disciplined me to keep me going with it. Even though I probably would have hated it, I would have been thankful. Not to blame my mom, because it's not my mom's fault. I literally was I'm not doing it anymore, and she's okay. And she can't force me to do anything. But in a way, I'm glad I had my freedom. I also regret that I didn't continue it. But reframing this regret, and this regret, if anything, has grew my passion for music and helped me pick up a guitar. And now, like, playing guitar is one of my hobbies. I'm not the best at it, but it's definitely something that I'm learning right now, and it's been fun. And again, being around talented people really help. But I'm healing that little regret that I have, and also brings back that nostalgia that I have. I was talking with Kylie about, just playing violin again, and she picked up violin again because she feels the same way. And we honestly feel stupid that we even dropped it in the first place, because how cool is it to be able to play an instrument? I feel like as you get older, certain hobbies that you used to do back then, and if you still continue to do it now, like if you grew up surfing, that's sick. That's awesome. If you grew up playing an instrument and you've been playing all those years, that's sick. You know what I mean? Certain things like that, I think, is where I feel stupid for not continuing it. And I give so much props to Kylie for picking up her violin. She got it restrung and all that stuff, and she's picking up old sheet music and new sheet music, and she's still able to read, which I'm envious. I can't, unfortunately. But I give props to, Kylie, and also my little sister Anna for still playing it too, because I think it's very, very cool to be able to play it. And yeah, just stuff like that. And I'm moving to a more positive mindset of, using this regret and fueling it to keep playing guitar, keep learning, keep being curious. So that was the first regret. The second regret is very, very similar in the same sense of not doing it more as a kid or quitting as a kid, and that's ballet. So the story of me, I did ballet for 2 weeks, a whopping 2 weeks, guys. I did ballet for 2 weeks, and the reason why I quit, me being a little chunk-a-monk, is because it interfered with my dinner time. Yes, I did not play about food when I was younger. I did not play about dinner when I was younger. But my mom insisted that me and my older sister go and do ballet. And I don't really remember much of it, but I just remember being like, Mom, I'm hungry. I want to go home. And I'm glad that my mom put me into it. But, my mom was a ballerina when she was younger, and she was a great one at that. She had quit when she was 16, and that is still one of her regrets to this day. And she was amazing. She performed with the New York City Ballet, and she had like her own part and her own role, and she was awesome. She was beautiful ballerina. And growing up and watching things like Dance Moms, and you just learn to appreciate dance, and you just wish that you got that same training. And I wish that I continued with ballet and like with technique and all that stuff, because I think it's just such a beautiful art form. And art and music in itself are things that fill your cup. And it can feel really, really weird to start passions at this age sometimes, like certain things, especially dance. Let's say you go to a dance class, some of these people have been dancing their whole life and have been training their whole life, and you're just starting. So it can feel weird and almost wrong to start these kinds of passions and hobbies. But I kind of got over that, and I got over myself, and I was like, who cares? I like it. I want to do it. And so I'm very, very grateful that Oniana offers dance classes as classes, and I was able to fill my cup, heal my regret of doing ballet again. And I got to do a ballet class, and I felt like a little ballerina, and it was I felt like a full circle moment. Like, I can do this. And again, it felt weird because I'm dancing with girls who have been dancing their whole life versus me, who did 2 weeks of training when I was 6 years old. And I put that aside and I just thought about how much I regret this and what I can do about it. And ever since that ballet class, I continued to do more dance classes, whether it be jazz 1, jazz 2, and now I'm taking modern dance this semester, and I'm super excited. But it's that regret that made me and pushed me to not have that regret as much. And I'm very proud of myself for doing that, because it can be really scary and hard to do that and put yourself out there, especially dance in front of other people or just do anything in front of other people. And it's scary, but it was fun and I liked it. But that is one of my regrets. And lastly is my third regret. And this one I really, really regret. I don't really know if it's something that I could have controlled, but I wish I learned my native language. So if you guys don't know, I'm Vietnamese, and I grew up with both Vietnamese parents, but my mom was adopted, and my dad spoke Vietnamese. My mom didn't. And in the house, we just never really spoke it. I remember going to Vietnamese school and I would never want to go. So I would pretend to fall asleep in the car. Okay, I'm a kid, so just give me a little break. But I pretended to sleep in the car so that I didn't have to go. So I just slept in the car and didn't go. Didn't learn a lick. I think now I know a couple things. Like I know how to say 1 to 10. I know how to say Happy New Year, which and I know how to say like dad and like grandma and like please and thank you, but that's about it, just very baby talk. And I regret not being able to speak my native language, because in a way it makes me feel like a fake Asian. It makes me feel whitewashed, and I want to be more in tapped with my ethnicity, and not being able to speak it can feel very discouraging, and especially being around other family members that can, or relatives, and having like a language barrier with my relatives can be really, really hard. I have such a huge regret of not learning. I don't really think it was my fault, considering I didn't have it when I was younger and no one was, well, yes, I did go to school, and yes, I didn't really listen, but I didn't really have somebody speaking to me or teaching me Vietnamese. And it's definitely a goal of mine, a lifelong goal, to learn Vietnamese and to visit the motherland and to be able to speak it. And yeah, I just think it's hard. My family just recently visited the motherland and had a lot of fun. But, it's definitely a goal of mine to visit and to be able to speak the language. But that's been a big regret of mine for the reasons that I said, but mainly not being able to talk to some of my family members. And it's those language barriers that really make it hard and really make you want to learn more. And yeah, it just, like I said, it makes me feel not Vietnamese, like I am Vietnamese, I identify as Vietnamese, but in a way, like I feel like if I can't speak the language, I don't feel Asian enough, and I was gonna do a podcast episode about, navigating my nationality and my ethnicity, but, this also ties into my regrets as well. And reframing is kind of seeing that it's not necessarily my fault. It's not a huge, I just feel like society can like look down on you if you don't speak your native language. And so that can kind of feel shitty sometimes. But again, reframing and just kind of seeing that it's okay. It's okay. I've learned one of the hardest languages, which I'm proud of myself for. kind of making myself feel better for my regret, but whatever. And also knowing that it's not too late to learn and to start. And yeah, I think that's a good way to not feel so shitty about this regret. And yeah, those were all of my regrets that I had written down. I have a ton more, but I won't talk about them. But, after all, regrets, just like any other mistake, teach you things and teach you life lessons that you would not have learned if you didn't make those mistakes. And as much as I regret them, I'm glad it happened because it gives me a chance to learn a new language, a new instrument, and a new passion. So yeah, I guess not that I'm, licensed to give advice, but if you have any regrets, look inward, really think about how you feel about them and how you can reframe those regrets into something more positive, into maybe a new outlet, maybe a new opportunity. But just remember to be kind to yourself while looking upon those regrets, because hey, it's okay. Everybody does shitty things. Everybody makes mistakes. And that's okay. But I hope you guys enjoyed listening to my regrets. And I hope you guys have a great day, night, evening. I love you all, and don't forget to give yourselves a little bit of grace. Bye. Love you.